Okay, so guys, quiet down. So today we're talking about polynomials, and eventually we'll get into factoring, but not today. We're just going to focus on naming polynomials and adding and subtracting them today. So a polynomial is an expression with a single variable and a degree of at least 1. And then it can either be a monomial, which is one term, or a sum of monomials. A binomial is 2 terms, and a trinomial is 3 terms. And they're usually separated by a plus or minus sign. They're said to be written in standard form when it goes highest exponent to lowest. And the exponents have to be positive whole numbers. The first number, once it's written in standard form, in front of the variable is the leading coefficient. The exponent of the highest term is the degree of the polynomial. And the number at the end without a variable is said to be a constant term because it never changes. So, I have some common polynomial functions. I have degree 0 is a constant, and it's in the standard form f of x equals a number. So an example of this would be f of x equals 3. That is a constant polynomial. No matter what my x value is, the y value is always going to be 3. So if I take a look for linear, my degree is 1. That is my highest exponent on the variable x. So an example of this could be f of x equals 2x plus 5. Okay. The second one is quadratic. I only look at my first term, so my highest exponent here is 2, and that's how I can tell it's quadratic. An example of this would be f of x equals 3x squared plus 2x. I don't have to have any, no, let me rephrase this. When I have a quadratic, the most important part is that the highest exponent is a 2, and then I don't have to have 3 terms. I can have 1 term, 2 terms, or 3 terms for a quadratic. Okay. So degree 3, highest exponent is a 3, and that makes it cubic. So an example of this would be f of x equals 7x cubed minus 2x plus 4. So my highest exponent in that polynomial is a 3. And then the final one that has a special name is a degree 4. It's called a quartic polynomial. Notice my highest exponent is again 4. So an example of this would be 5x to the 4th plus 2x cubed plus 7. And the important things on these ones when I'm naming by degree is the highest exponent. So the 2, the 3, the 4, and then this one has a high exponent of 1. Okay, so in my examples, it wants me to write the polynomials in standard form, so highest exponent to lowest, what the degree is, and the leading coefficient. So, what is my highest exponent on this first polynomial? 7. So that term is going to be rewritten out front, so I'm going to have negative 5x to the 7. You keep the signs with the terms. Then what's my next highest term? 2, so I'm going to put the 4x squared. And the next one, x, so I'm going to put 3x, and then minus 2 goes at the end. So that is in standard form because it goes highest exponent to lowest. What is my degree here? 7. And then my leading coefficient. Okay, so on number 2, what's my highest coefficient, or what's my highest term? 2, so I'm going to write the negative 9x squared first. Then I just have the 4. So my degree here is, and my leading coefficient, okay, so my final one, I only have one term, so I just rewrite it. There's nothing to put in order. What is my degree on this one? No. 0, because I have no x. And then my leading coefficient, 8. Okay, so guys, so the last thing I'm doing today is adding and subtracting polynomials. When I'm adding polynomials, it's literally just combining like terms. When I'm subtracting polynomials, I distribute a -1, and then I combine like terms. So if I take a look at number 6, I have 5x cubed, and I'm adding it to an x cubed. So 5 plus 1 is 6. Remember, when I'm adding polynomials, I just add the numbers out front. The exponents stay the same. So then if I look at my next term, I have -7x squared, and I'm adding this to a 2x squared. So -7 plus 2 is -5x squared. Then I only have this one negative x, so that just stays the same. And finally, I'm adding -3 to +8. So -3 plus 8, 5. Okay. Number 7, they are separated by a minus sign. So I want to go ahead and distribute a -1 to my second set of numbers in the polynomial. So my first set is going to stay exactly the same. And then everything after the negative sign, I'm going to treat this as a -1 and distribute. So it's going to be -1 times 3x to the 4th, which will give me -3x to the 4th. -1 times -4x squared will give me +4x squared. And then finally, negative 1 times 3x will give me negative 3x. Okay, so then I want to go ahead and combine like terms. I have this 7x to the 4th, and I want to subtract 3x to the 4th. So 7 minus 3. 4. Then do I have any cube terms? I don't have cube terms, but this 4 should not have an exponent. If you guys can't be quiet during notes, I'll give you a new seating chart. So I have negative x squared and 4x squared. So that gives me what's negative x squared plus 4x squared? Positive 3x squared. Then I have negative 4x and negative 3x. Negative 7x. And then finally, I just have this 2. So this is my final answer.